No, because some kids don't want a real brother or sister. Some kids say they get jealous and they're just like, I don't like the baby, and you know what I mean? You see that. Some children are really excited about a new baby coming. Some children are not, and there's a lot of people who try to tell parents how to encourage a younger child to be accepting of a new baby, because sometimes there can be this sort of rivalry with the coming child. So what I thought of was, what if she's like 3 or 4, she's at an age where she's getting a lot of attention because she's the baby, and she's got this older brother, right, because he said this happened to my sister, so she's got this older brother who was there at the time when she was drowning, so she's the baby of the family, she's getting this attention, and suddenly another baby's coming along, and we're going to get the crib, and we're going to get the nursery ready, and and you're going to have to wait because we have to. And what about this new baby? And it's like, this is not. I don't want this baby. And I was like, I wonder if this is not Emily, is the same way of saying I don't want a real sibling.
Yeah.
And then the second one comes, and you got the same thing. I didn't like the first one that came. I don't want this one either.
But now with the third one,
right?
I've got 3 brothers.
Right. You've got the brother. You've got all brothers going on. You're living in the house here where you're a little bit older now, and it might be kind of fun to have another little girl to do your tea parties with. So I was just like, you know, it's so mundane to me.
It's an oversimplification that ignores the amount of time that passes, all of the other things that happen in this child's life and in the lives of everyone else. But I like, the one thing that I keyed in on the time element is, you're talking about a span of a couple of 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. Who knows how long it was between those kids? I mean, if they were popping them out like quiverfuls, then it might have been quicker. But who keeps that story alive?
Right.
It seems like that there are a lot of factors that are just ignored when you sum this whole up thing in a short little paragraph of girl dies is resuscitated by an incompetent man, and then claims that she has a little sister from some white.
Well, and the other question is, you know, was somebody there recording this story the moment she told it?
Yeah, or did it build?
How do stories grow? How do stories change? I mean, it's just like that telephone game. I tell you, and you tell someone, and you tell someone, and by the time it gets around the room, you've got like a completely different story.
Yeah.
And so, what happened to the story of Emily in all those years?
How much different is the story as it plays in his head versus the story as it plays in the heads of other members of the family?
Yeah.
Now, they may have the same story because they've been sharing it in amongst themselves for a while, but it could also be...
They've developed their own canon.
Let's, it's like 5:15, and as a reminder, we're doing hour-long shows, so we've got like 15 minutes left. There's no phones. We are going to dinner afterwards at Threadgill's, 301 West Riverside Drive. Any atheist or atheist-friendly person is welcome to join us. If you happen to have better miracle stories, send them to Tracy.
Oh, thank you.
But you can just send them to tv@atheist-community.org, and we'll all get them, and then I won't have to have Tracy do them all.
You know, I didn't even think about it, but you're right. Suddenly I'm thinking like, oh, Lord, am I going to get flooded now with everybody saying, well, that's not a... I mean, because that's the thing. Everybody's always like, well, that person wasn't the best person to...
It happens all the time.
And then I'll get like 1,000.
So, we get emails on a regular basis from people saying, you know, boy, the Christians or the theists who call into your show, they're really poor representatives. Yes. Here's a better one. Why don't you have this person on? Like I get to decide who calls the show.
Or they're going to represent.
Yeah, and then when I always write back and I tell them the same thing, here's the number of the show, you can call whenever you want. Oh, no, I'm not a good representative. Well, then how can you identify the ones that are, you know.
Yeah, if you don't know what's a good apologetic.
So let's, for fun, we'll hit some email.
Sure, do it.
And I won't be giving out any names or reading anything that might embarrass or identify people.
All anonymous.
The first one is, I really feel bad for you guys because when you die, you're all going to hell. And the worst part about it is when you're in hell, you'll not be able to communicate with your atheist friends on earth to tell them to follow Jesus Christ and that being an atheist will put them in hell. I don't even know if we have to, actually say anything about that.
It's just kind of funny. I mean, I wonder, though, will I be able to communicate with my atheist friends in hell?
Well, no, because that would make it too much fun.
Well, I'd be sitting around saying, I hope my friends die, so I'll have someone to talk to. At least we'll have intelligent conversation.
Yeah.
Like.
Hell for the company.
Is that the T-shirt? Hell for the company.
Yeah. My questions are simple. There's no right or wrong answers. I don't care if you do not choose to answer both, but you may answer one that you find most interesting, please. Well, sure, okay. Question number 1. What do you think about Bibles in hotel rooms? Should they get rid of them, and why? Could you just ignore them being there? If not, why? What's your take on Bibles in hotel rooms, Tracy?
I don't care.
You don't care?
I really don't. I
either.
used one time for grins. I had a friend there, and I was showing her the passages, like I guess it was in Timothy, where it talks about how the all Scripture is inspired.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, isn't it funny that when Timothy wrote that, there was no Bible because he was still writing Timothy?
Yeah.
It's like, so what's he talking about? You know, it's like he's talking about, obviously, the Hebrew Bible.
The Hebrew Bible.
Or Hebrew texts, I guess, because there wasn't really a canon at that point either. But yeah, it's just kind of funny that you can use those Bibles for entertainment if you want to. And
there's a lot of ways to use them for entertainment. Jeff D. has a game that we've promoted on Nonprofits before, which is called Hide the Bible. So that if you end up staying in a hotel room and you find the Bible, you can hide it. Beth and I had one. There was a good window treatment with like a shelf almost above the window. So we stuck it up there. From the door, when you come in, you could actually see it because you got the long view of it, but it was up there. Other people have, hidden them under the bed, behind the furniture, especially furniture you can't move.
Right.
And what's cool about this is that it's gotten popular enough where people have gone in to hide the Bible and found a Bible that someone else has already hidden.
Awesome.
So that's fun. I know there are websites and atheist groups that sell stickers that you can put in the Bibles that say, caution, the contents of this book may be hazardous to your health, or the following work is fiction, and any
I was just thinking, though,
real
it's kind of like geocaching in a way. It's like I just wonder if they should call it like bibliocaching or something like that, where you like hide the Bible but leave some kind of clues.
Other people just take them. And they're like, oh, I took a Bible, and I was like, that's exactly what they wanted.
Well, yeah, they're giveaways.
Yeah, the Gideons and others are putting them in there specifically for you to take them. So people have said, hey,
it's not stealing.
I want to learn more about Christianity and the Bible. Which Bible should I get? And I generally point them to free Bibles, download and software where you can compare different versions, and BibleGateway.com and other free sites. You don't have to actually go spend $70 on an NIV from Zondervan who have copyrighted their version. Or you can go to a hotel room and pick one up for free, a nice physical one that you can dog-ear the pages and highlight and do whatever you want. So I don't really care that much.
Yeah, it's not like having them stuck around under school desks.
But if you don't really need one, I'd say don't take one. Leave it in the hotel room. And here's my thought on that. It's because from time to time they're going to come around and they're going to say, ooh, there's no Bible in this hotel room. Clearly we've done something good and given somebody a Bible that they needed desperately. So we'll replace it with another one. If every time they went into every hotel room all the Bibles were there, they might start getting the idea that, maybe people aren't that interested in this book. I think that they should, when they put them in there as a way of actually finding out how useful this is, put the Bible in a place and put a little ribbon tape on it and seal it to see if anybody's even cracked that sucker open, because I'm betting 99% of the time nobody's opening those things. His second question, if there happened to be evidence of a deity or a creator, which religion would you think is right? If not religion, what would make you think upon for the details of this God and other spiritual things such as afterlife maybe?
It would depend on the evidence.
Let's say the evidence such as scientists found that a spiritual presence was at the beginning of life.
Okay, so like you're saying, what if they identified like a deistic, at the very least, some kind of deistic thing?
If there was some demonstration that there must have been some
well, that wouldn't tell
designer,
me anything. That would tell me nothing about religion.
It doesn't tell me anything about which one's right. Actually, it would probably tell me that all of the religions that have been posited are actually probably wrong, considering they're not actually making those kinds of claims about the start of life usually.
Oh, was it life or I guess I was thinking the cosmos, but...
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, I don't know.
So there's an individual who emailed with a solution to the problem of evil. He quotes Bible verses, Job 31:6, Proverbs 11:1, Proverbs 20:23, to say that the reason evil exists is because God isn't all loving, he's all. Just those three letters, all loving and all hating, all knowing and all ignorant.
So he's all logical contradiction.
Yes.
Okay.
I
Which
agree.
is the same as nothing.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that one. I don't need conspiracy theory stuff.
That's like saying my husband is both faithful and unfaithful.
Yeah. My spouse is
What in the
all
world does
faithful
that
and
mean?
all cheating. So here's something, and this is going to be kind of difficult because it's from somebody whose English isn't their native language, and we
Okay.
get a lot of that. This individual is, I think, from Portugal. I've just seen a couple of your shows on YouTube and want to congratulate you for your effort and dedication. Thanks. Most of the shows I've seen are a little old, so I don't know if you've evolved since then. But I have to say your argumentation is in most of the cases very basic. Now, without going any further, that kind of reminds me of you're not addressing what the real theologians say.
Yeah, I mean, I will have to say we respond to
them-
the claims we're given.
Yeah, get them to call in. Get the real theologians to call in, and we'll address those. But having addressed every one of the traditional arguments for the existence of God and every conceivable claim including Matt Slick calling in with his transcendental argument to some Yahoo who thinks that if you put a mirror and wrap it with wood and put it under running water, it can suck you into a spirit realm, so you need a rope tied around you
no.
with somebody tending it. Yeah.
Too much Carlos Castaneda.
Yeah, I'm sorry that those people don't represent your particular superstitions, but until you actually present something more, I got nothing to go on. Continuing his email, being condescendent and arrogant doesn't make your speech more reasonable, but it seems you insist on doing that. Okay, that's possibly fair. I've said on a number of occasions, in particular, that I can come across and be arrogant and condescending, dismissive. I'm human. I get frustrated sometimes when people call and are dishonest. The rules are kind of simple. The rules of what I expect when I'm having a conversation with a caller are really pretty simple. I want an honest discussion, an acknowledgement of points. You don't get to, nobody coming on specifically just to preach. If you've made a point and it's been responded to and countered, I'd like some acknowledgement of that before you move on to something else, or just start giving a new laundry list of claims, because religionists in particular can make so many claims and a very flawed claim in a very short period of time that it takes 10, 15 minutes to explain. So I'm going to have to put people on hold and cut them off early, etc. There have been people who said, well, don't use profanity. Okay. We tend not to. There have been some occasions where it's going to occur, and it's because I like it. I think it's a useful tool. I think that in some cases it's the best thing you can do, and I realize that it's going to turn some people off, and I do it knowing that could potentially turn some people off. But I don't necessarily just get on here and start spewing obscenities just to irritate people who are interested in an honest discussion. Usually people get about as good as they give on the show, and if you're willing to have an honest conversation, that's great. However, if somebody makes a stupid argument, I'm fine with saying that's a stupid argument. I'm fine with the fact that I'm dumbfounded that somebody could say anything so obviously stupid.
Yeah, I just have to interrupt because I read ahead a little bit here.
Yeah.
And I have to laugh because this person actually writes that when you read the Bible, you shouldn't be touched by historic facts, but by faith.
Yeah.
It's like, and earlier he's like, all you have are historic facts when you argue with people.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, so just ignore the facts and then believe. And there's like an entire paragraph here where he's basically excusing the fact that they can't demonstrate any of this is true by saying that the science wasn't there and they don't have the capacity because it happened 2,000 years ago, as if that's my problem.
Yeah.
It's like, no, that's the reason it's stupid for you to be putting this forward as real.
And oddly enough, like the whole hour has now gone by. Let me just hit on this because some people have emailed real quick. Thanks to everybody on the crew, and you can put the credits up and everything else, and we'll see you all again next year. But I don't take it easy on arguments, even when they're presented by my friends and people I like. If you listen to Last Nonprofits, Linnea made an argument that I thought was terrible, and I said so. I don't like Linnea any less than I did before. I don't respect her any less. We've all said dumb things. We've all made bad arguments. My goal is to eliminate them as much as possible. And if I make a bad argument, I want somebody to point it out so that I can correct it for future. It's just that I never make bad arguments. In all seriousness, though, everybody enjoy your holiday season and a Happy New Year, and we'll see you back here in a new season. Hopefully the phones will be working, and maybe we'll